morning to all, ladies and gentlemen. The luminaries on the dais, including Professor
Sir,
Veni
you are
Madhavan,
muted.
Professor
Could you?
Shyam Sundar, Dr. Prashant Mishra,
Ah.
Shri Arvindji, the Chief Controller of Certifying Authorities, Dr. S.G. Sudarshan, Director CDAC Bangalore, Dr. Balaji, Shri Tanmay Chakravarti, Shri Dilip Barban, Shri Ashish Banati from the CCA, Excellency Benoit Prefontaine, Shri Anand Mohanji, Shri Muralidharanji. I'm really the distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really happy and honored to be part of this workshop. I feel really very fortunate and privileged. At the same time, very humbled to be part of this conference. Professor Veni Madhavan was introduced, and it was told that he did his graduation in the year 1969. That is exactly the year of my birth. So, uh, and then I graduated in 1989. When I went to the school, actually my date of birth was written when I went to the school. There was no system of recording of date of birth before that. So my cousins used to go to the school. So I was a keen child to go to school. So I was slightly younger, and the school refused to admit me. So my father said, "Why don't you increase the age by a year and a half or 2 years so that he can go to the school?" Perhaps this may not be possible today when we have this Aadhaar-enabled biometric online registration of birth of newly born children on the basis of their parents. So I think no longer we'll have the trust issues on the dates of birth. So trust on this online system today is really an important one, and we are having this conference related to that subject. Honestly, I would have loved to be in Bangalore physically for this event, but unfortunately, I could not make it because of some responsibilities related to G20 event happening in Delhi. But at the same time, I would really like to congratulate the organizers for having the confidence and belief to organize this conference coinciding with the G20 Leaders Summit at the same time. And I can see there is a huge participation in this conference, the fourth edition of the International Conference on Public Key Infrastructure and its Applications. I'm thankful to Arvindji especially. He actually insisted me to participate in this event, and he said that I must come. But unfortunately, when I could not make it physically, he said, why don't you participate online? So I thought, okay, let me try that. I am also thankful to Sudarshan ji, or rather sorry to him because he has invited me on a number of occasions. Unfortunately, it has not been possible to attend any of his events. So today I thought I'll compensate for that, even if I'm not able to make it physically. At least I will join this conference virtually so that he doesn't feel that I keep avoiding his invitations. So as a chair of this event, I really want to congratulate him and thank him also. Now, coming to the internet, actually, uh, when we talk about internet, we say safe, secure, trusted, and accountable internet. In fact, before I go to this topic, let me relate a small story incident which has happened very recently. Arvindji was educating me on the activities of the CCA. So what all CCA does, and we came to something the secure socket layer and the HTTPS, and I had a very kiddish question, and I'll request again this to be answered. I think a lot of people are here, so I'll pose this question to everybody. Then I asked, why do we not have HTTPS as the default system? Why do we need the secure socket layer at all? Okay, so it may be quite a foolish question. It may be very simple. I think answers may be simple, but I did not know the answer, so I posed this question. So it is before you also, all of you. So why we need additional secure socket layer at all? Why don't we make it this as a default option on the internet? So when we say the internet should be safe, secure, trusted, and accountable, So this will become part of that. Automatically should become part of that. I hope you will excuse me for my limited knowledge on the subject. The reason is that I graduated in '89, but my course content was designed in 1967. I was the last batch of a 5-year course called BSc Engineering in the then REC Kurukshetra, which is now known as National Institute of Technology. Fortunately or unfortunately, since I was the last batch, the next batch which came was in computer science, and they perhaps had better knowledge of networking and all those ideas. My knowledge remained limited to more of electronics and communication field. Uh, anyway, now when we are talking about this conference, all these delegates who have come in larger numbers to participate in that, and this is the fourth version of this one. I really don't want to speak on the PKI and its advantages and the usefulness. I think for me, it will be like showing a lamp to the sun. You all know far more than that. But just what I want to say is that these days, we keep interacting with various countries on bilateral fora, especially on the free trade agreements which are being signed. We had one with the UAE initially, then we had one with Australia. Now we are negotiating one with the UK and also EU, and there are many more in the pipeline. And in all these bilateral free trade agreements, one chapter which has become almost mandatory is the digital trade chapter. In fact, no bilateral trade negotiation is complete today without that chapter. Earlier, nobody perhaps bothered about these. There used to be HS lines, there used to be trade things, and that used to be all. But now, without agreement on this particular chapter, the trade agreement is incomplete. And in fact, it is insisted that first this chapter should be agreed, and then the other things can be agreed upon automatically. A lot of things will happen by a normal course. So, in these trade chapters, one of the things which is one of the important areas or the sub paragraphs or paragraphs in that chapter is about the digital transaction and the mutual recognition of electronic signatures or the digital signatures. So, this is a very, very important area, and I think the this is going to increase. With the online transactions, the digital trade becoming more and more important. Even in the economy, if you look at it, the digital economy component is increasing day by day. And we hope that by 2026, 20% of India's digital economy, of the total $5 trillion we'll have, $1 trillion will be from the digital economy. And the recent digital economy working group negotiations, which have been successfully concluded, that is a landmark in itself. Now, when these signatures and transactions have to be recognized mutually, the basic question which comes is the trust. And I personally think, and that's my understanding, that to develop that trust, we need to have a lot of innovation in the field of public key infrastructure. Especially in the wake of quantum computers knocking on the door, this is going to be all the more important. And we need to have quantum resistant or quantum safe or maybe even post quantum cryptography solutions before the quantum computers actually come in the being. So, having said that, I wish that the deliberations which happen in this conference definitely lead to better solutions, and this workshop and conference remains very successful. At the same time, I really want to say that in the modern world, while we are talking about Make in India initiatives, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the self-reliant initiatives, one of the important areas where we lack today is cybersecurity and all the ecosystem of cybersecurity. India has shown its prowess now in the digital public infrastructure, which has been globally recognized, especially during this G20 negotiation in the Digital Economy Working Group. DPI has been recognized, and India has been recognized in the digital public infrastructure. And we have very solid building blocks of India stack. But at the same time, if I look at the cybersecurity solutions or solutions in the domain of cybersecurity, the overall blanket area, then I find there are not many solutions. And that is why it is very, very important to have Indian root certificate, to have Indian solutions in the cybersecurity, the security information and event management solutions, other anti-malwares, other security operations center solutions. All those solutions related to trust need to be made in India. And that is what is important from the point of view of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, which has taken very large number of initiatives related to the data. And all of you are aware, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act has already been passed by both houses of the Parliament, and now it is an act of 2023. So a lot of these things are going into come into picture and will have its own effects, and that is why it is important to build made in India solutions. So I exhort all of you to have wonderful discussions during this conference, and I'm sure this is going to be a success. And as far as inaugurating the conference is concerned, so let me say that I formally declare this PKI 2023 inaugurated. Thank you, Jai Hind.